used to be upset when my mother used to forget my birthday. She gave birth to me. How do you forget that a whole human being came out of you? I used to play cards.
Yeah.
It destroyed my knees on with cards. It's terrible.
Okay.
Okay. How do you recharge? Sleep, reading, and the beach. I take weekends off and I run off by myself to the beach. Namupolo is my favorite place to be. Just wish it was a bit longer though. What happened in the last dream you remember? I died. It was horrible and terrifying. Then I woke up. What impression you think you give when you meet someone? It depends on where I meet them. If I'm at a place like open mic, people think I'm more outroverted than I am. If you meet me at work, you think I only speak up because absolutely necessary, so quiet. So I guess it depends on where I am and which people. But I think mostly quiet, I hope. I'd like to think I've grown quiet as I've gotten older.
So you're saying that you're introvert or an extrovert?
Introverted, extrovert.
So you're an ambivert?
Is that what you call it? What's the most awkward moment at your friend's house? When I came back from essay, from my studies, like 3 years ago, I didn't have a place to stay, so I asked to crash with one of my friends. I was going through the most, and one of her mom was always asking me to contribute to the conversation, to the household. I'll come from work, I'd go to sleep, they would call me to eat, and I'll go right back to sleep and go to work. The most awkward one was when she called me. She called me to come eat, but then I didn't realize that everybody was in the middle of this conversation, and her dad came in, and he's like, "Why are you not doing anything?" Because I've known them for years. I've known my friends since I was 2. I've known her family for years. She's like, "Why are you not doing anything in the house? Why aren't you contributing?" I felt accepted, and it was also very awkward because he was scolding me like I saw him scold her. It was weird, and I didn't know what to say. A week later, I found the place. I was just like, I'm going back there. Obviously, went back, but. Yeah, that was awkward. He just called at me like, "Why aren't you doing anything? You're not interacting with the family. You're not doing any chores." And I'm just like, "I'm just here for 2 weeks, bro." Anyway, what do you hope never changes? My sister and I's relationship. She's my best friend, and she's like the best support system I have. I hope we grow and become better, but I hope the essence of the relationship never changes.
So with like your sister, what is that one thing that there's a whole solid relationship, but what is that one extra thing that you wish like you could somehow strengthen?
I show up more often. I just think like disappear because I stay on my own a lot. If I could become more consistent. We are working on it. I told her about it. She's like, "Can you tell me when I'm beginning to fade?" And then she's like, she has told me. Matter of fact, my niece has told me. So we are working on it. But if I could just show up more often. Like, it's nice to know that even when I do disappear for like a week or a month, I always have someone I can go back to. It's nice. Are you pro-choice or pro-life? Definitely pro-choice. It's a choice. I have a difficult question answering this one to Christians, and it's Saturday. This week we just had this conversation with one of my very Christian best friends, and it was a whole argument. So I'm kind of stuck on that one. But if I had to explain why I'm pro-choice, it's a choice. Nobody should be forced to be a mother, and I think it's good for the kid to and the parent as well. It's her body. Let her decide what she wants to do with it. In a nutshell. Do you believe in love at first sight? Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say absolutely not, but then I remember that I actually do. I do. I have never experienced it though. I think like after a week I thought I was in love once, but not at first sight. What's your deal breaker in relationships? Insecurity in the sense when I'm no longer secure in the relationship with the person. So then you start questioning all these things, like, and then you start questioning yourself, and then when I start doubting myself about certain things, then I have to ask, is it me? Is it something that I can change, or is it something that's wrong with this relationship? I don't know, I just don't like feeling insecure. I work so hard to be comfortable in my skin and just be comfortable where I am. I hate feeling insecure. So when people are insecure or I'm insecure, I'd like to work on it or ask to work on it. But yes, it's very uncomfortable. If it can't be worked on, then I'm out. What takes up too much of your time? Sleeping and reading. I sleep way too much. And when I'm not sleeping or working, I'm reading. So work too, but it doesn't count, right? Bills have to be paid. What is the weirdest thing about you? I'm weird. I like being called weird. I'm not sure what people mean when they say I'm weird, but I feel like it's a compliment because then you're not just like everybody else. It makes me a bit unique. When people say weird, I don't know what that means. But it's like, okay, thank you for acknowledging my uniqueness. Yeah, I like when people call me weird. That's the weirdest thing about me.
Have you ever questioned like what is weird, or how do people define weird when they call you weird, or anything that you have done for them to say that you're weird?
I think when people say they're weird, they just mean like you're not what I think normal should be. What I think should be conventional. Thank you very much. It's nice to know that I'm coloring outside the lens, or at least what you define as where the lens should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just based on that, like there's this other thing of like what you're saying, like what is normal and what is not normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you find peace with in the way that society sets up like certain rules, what is fine and what is not? Like there's certain things that they say this is okay and this is not, and the next thing like the standards just flips when it gets to the other thing.
Mm-hmm. Something as simple as I wear socks. I wear heels with socks. I wear sandals with socks. Okay, socks, heels is better. It's better than, I'm going to point to my feet. I wear socks and heels. I've seen people do it, it's more acceptable now, but it wasn't when I started doing it, when I started wearing heels. So it's gonna change eventually, They're gonna catch up, I'm just ahead of my time, is what I told myself. And it has happened before, like I would start something like there was this one time where I was wearing dresses with my jeans and pants. And then for a little bit, people started doing it. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Why is it acceptable when everybody else is doing it, but when I was doing it, it wasn't okay? And then I realized, wait a minute, I'm just ahead of the times, okay. So I tell myself, I'll catch up eventually. I'm just ahead. I usually early or late. Very early or very late. I'm working on margin, like bringing it into acceptable margin. So I'm trying to be 10 minutes early or at the very least 5 minutes late. But I'm usually very early, very late. What's the one thing that overwhelms you? My overthinking. I overthink things. I think situations to